chaos, physical destruction, separation from families, communities destroyed, and armed violence undermines society and communal norms, ethical and moral standards and traditions are shattered. In order to this left this tremendous uncertainty of whether things will change for the better. Added to this difficult situation is also the loss in the belief in the very innocence of the children. That's, whether we like it or not, will become the leaders of these very nations that have these problems. With all of these attributes, there are that are part of the methods through which children are used in war. We are left with images that are burned into our minds. A young boy dressed in a t-shirt, shorts, flip-flops, holding an AK-47, a cap pulled down over two old eyes, a child with sticks of dynamite strapped to his chest, and the captions are left to journalists who are the first to bring such images to the masses. And they write really amazing things. I remember, for example, the first, particularly when it comes to Sierra Leone, the first image that was brought to the New York Times, and the way it was spoken about was that for some reason people had come to believe that children who were coming from war were a lost generation. It used to be called the lost generation, the barbarians, and time bombs, and all of these things. And when these things were happening, I was living in the United States. I was going to school. I was probably walking past the same people who were making these comments. And in their wildest imagination, they would not know that I was a time bomb or barbarian. So I walked past them in New York City or wherever else I found myself. So I'm not going to read entirely everything that I'm reading here. I hope that at this point you've sort of gotten the gist of where I'm taking this. This is in no way, I'm not trying to say that children who are fighting in current wars should be given these honorable roles. Infants of the emperor or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is that if we carefully look at language that is used to describe others, to describe the suffering of others, to describe the context of others' lives, perhaps if we engage those people into actually shaping that language about how they feel about themselves, we may shift, there may be a tremendous shift in the way people are empowered to be able to face the future when they are coming from such situations that are difficult. For example, I was looking at a lot of articles, academic articles, and you have ones that say, can child soldiers become citizens? Child soldiers have always been citizens before, during, and after the war. Yeah. So I mean, things like that. When you say, when child soldiers grow up, really. I mean, so when you see things like this, you begin to realize that is the language trying to keep people within a particular mindset, within a particular way of feeling, of behaving. I went to an event recently. Just to even remove it from the context of child soldiers, just the way people tend to associate, to use language, because language can be used as a way to humanize people sometimes directly or indirectly. Or language can also be used to do wonderful things, but also to destroy the very spirit of a human being and how it can rise from whatever difficulty it's coming from. So I went to a presentation at NYU actually, where Elie Wiesel was giving a talk. Elie Wiesel, everybody knows Elie Wiesel. The laureate has done remarkable things, has written a lot. He was introduced as the Holocaust boy, not in those colloquial terms, but pretty much. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, my God, this is really, and I looked at my mom, I was there with my mother, and I'm thinking to myself, for the rest of my life, nobody's going to say, oh, hey, child soldier, former child soldier. I'm not a child anymore, I'm a young man. But for some reason, this is what would continue to happen. This is how people would refer to young people. And when you refer to people like that, for example, when I came from the war and I was living in the community in Sierra Leone, in Freetown, at this point the war was still going on in the country. If you were called the former child soldiers who lived in the neighborhood, when that word was associated with you, whenever anything went wrong in the community, you were the one they blamed. Because you were the former child soldier, which meant you were capable of bad things only. And 99% of the time we didn't do some of these things. So eventually we began to think, hey, if a chicken is missing and they think we're the ones and we're still hungry, they blame it on us and they already expect that we should steal the chicken. Because they will blame us anyway.